Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have this Jotul C450 Kennebec wood stove insert, and we've had it in the house for the better part of 20 years. And every year it's been a difficult job to find somebody to come and clean it and do routine maintenance. So this year I figured I'd do it myself and I would share what little I know. So let's get into it. Well, I've taken the fire bricks out of the firebox and they're down here. And I've cleaned up as much of the soot, ash, and debris as I could, vacuumed it out, and I think we're ready to try to clean it now. There's a baffle up here that's really heavy, and it's wedged up between these two sides, and typically I've had a real tough time trying to lift it and tilt it and get it to drop. Not so bad getting it out, but boy, getting it in has been historically very difficult. I don't know if anybody out there might have any tips or tricks on how to do it. I'm getting a little old, don't quite have the strength I used to have. A couple of these bricks, they're old. They've been on the floor of the firebox. I don't know how well it's showing up, but they're delaminating. Chips are coming out of them. In fact, you can even, to some degree, get your fingernail under there and peel up a chip. So I'm going to have to replace these. And for reference, I ended up replacing all these bricks that seem to have flaked or chipped. I had the bricks, and the bricks aren't that expensive. However, when I was talking to my wood stove supply house, they were telling me that you don't have to replace these bricks until they're far more compromised. They were describing if they're broken in half or two or three pieces, or if the material in the brick, the substrate, had completely disintegrated. So I leave that up to you. So I got the baffle down, and you can see there's a bit of ash and soot sitting on the top of it. Well, I was able to tilt it out. This is the back of the baffle. This is the front. And I think the trick with removing the baffle is you have to remove the bricks from the firebox. If you do that, you have just enough room to maneuver the baffle to get it in and out. Okay, here's the baffle in my yard. This is the cast iron side here. I brushed it off with a broom. And there's the side that faces the fire. You can see the holes for the air feeds. And the rope, of course, is kind of beat up. And I have an entire separate video on this chimney sweep cleaning kit that I'm using to sweep out this flue. So if you want more information, check out that video. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just pushing section after section up. I want this to go to the top, and I'm going to start cleaning it from the bottom. Okay, it took me 7 lengths to make it to the top of the chimney. I went outside and I confirmed I could see the orange in the chimney cap. And there's a look at some of the stuff that's fallen down through already just from pushing it up. Now I'm going to attach the drill, and I'm going to just keep spinning it many passes all the way down, removing section after section till I'm done. Okay, when I started doing it, I would get a cascade of quite a puff of ash and dust coming down, which was hard for my shop vac to keep up with, so I decided to cover the opening with a couple sheets of plastic to hopefully contain some of the dust. Well, I just finished pulling it down through, and boy, look at the size. That pile of soot and ash. That paper towel was up there. That's where the air comes from, down low up top into the baffle. I didn't want to get any soot into that channel. And apparently I failed on that. I should have done a better job plugging that up. Oh well, lesson for next time. And there's a bag, that's the ash that I just cleaned out. Whatever that is, that's quite a lot of ash and soot. It's very light, very flaky, very powdery. Well, there was a cover plate here that I took off, which gave me access to those channels down there. And I have this brush that they used to sell, I don't know if they still do, years ago, for cleaning the coils on your refrigerator. And I pulled a lot of schmutz out of there and vacuumed it up. So I think I got this area down here pretty clean. Okay, here's the baffle in my workshop, and yesterday I took the time to hit each of these 4 bolts with a little WD-40. And in my experience, pretty much every bolt I run across in my Jotul here is a 10 millimeter, which is a little convenient. And fortunately, so far, None of these seem to be overly tight, which is nice. Looks like I'll be able to get all these out. And these 4 bolts look to be in pretty good shape. And that's a whole lot of nothing. So that's just a piece of stamped steel. You can see the holes in it. These holes are a little smaller. Those are a little bigger. And it looks as though there's actually 2 rows of roping. There's an outer one here and then an inner one. And the inner one, not terribly tight, but the underside of the baffle compresses against it. So what I'm going to do is just replace this outer one carefully. And there's not much holding this on, just this little area here. Yeah, this is really loose. You have to be careful about that. Well, I guess I'm a little encouraged. There's the faintest hint of some white ash in here, and you can see the brush marks where I just brushed it away with a gentle sweeper brush. And there's basically the pile, hardly any. So apparently the air feeder system of the stove doesn't contaminate itself with ash, so that's a good sign. It seems to be well made, at least in that regard. And just to be clear, we've run this thing 10 or 15 seasons without ever cleaning this thing. According to the instructions of the cement, you're supposed to dampen the area with water as you apply it. I'm going to hit this first with a little paint thinner just to make sure if there's any oils or greases in there that I get them off. Can't imagine there's going to be a lot on it other than what it might have transferred from my hands. It seems as though the previous adhesive may have been red, and I say that because the old rope has red on it. Getting a lot of schmutz off it. I think it's just loose, dusty dirt. Okay, and I'm going to dampen the channel with water. Paint thinner has had a chance to evaporate, and I'm still getting a lot of red up, so maybe I'll do this a couple times. Okay, I spread a bead in there, and then I worked it around with just a length of wire, kind of acting as a spatula to really make sure it was worked into the joint and spread evenly on all sides of the joint, at least reasonably well. And now I'm going to place the rope in and cut it to length. Okay, I just gently put it in the channel. I'll hold it in place. I'm going to put the inner baffle gently in place, and the 4 holes are lining up, and that's going to put a little bit of weight here on the back where the rope is here. And I have a couple lengths of rebar, and I'm wondering if I can get them to balance, and it doesn't look like they're going to want to stay. Okay, I have a clamp going across. It's not really putting any pressure on, but it's just holding these 2 pieces of rebar because they want to roll outward and fall off. And I'm going to give that overnight to set up. Well, I've had this for 2 or 3 years, and you can see I'm almost done with it. And for this particular project, there was quite a plug up in the tip here, sort of like a tube of caulking. And it took a little work to get that cleared. I had to cut the hole a little bit bigger and squeeze it out. Other than that, it's working well, so for future reference. And I'm going to put these 4 screws in. Let's see why I can't wait to do that now. The threads stayed very clean. Apparently there's not nearly enough humidity, and the heat up here in the baffle apparently keeps the screws in pretty good shape. These didn't seem to be very tight when I loosened them. I don't know if there's any specifications on them, but I'm just going to snug them. They're not subject to shock and vibration. Okay, well, I gave the gasket adhesive a couple days to set up. It's been a couple days, and I got the baffle back in place. Wasn't terribly easy, but I managed to get it in. In the future, I wonder if you take out these 4 bolts, if you can maybe get this whole faceplate to come off without much of a fight. And I don't know if that would make getting the baffle in and out a little bit easier, but that's a project for another day. The baffle's quite heavy, and I don't really have the strength to get it up into place easily. This particular wood stove insert is elevated, and I find that if I put a chair in front of it, I can lean forward while sitting on the chair. I'm able to put my elbows on my knees, and that gives me enough leverage where I can lift and maneuver the baffle. I can't see what I'm doing, but I have enough coordination and strength to be able to maneuver it around and get it into place. Well, that's all I got for this one. I'm kind of excited that I got this clean and ready for the next heating season. Appreciate you coming by, visiting the channel. Hopefully you got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. And as I like to say, stay safe, take care. Thanks for coming by. Keep your eyes out for the next one.